Hey everybody, welcome. Glad you could join me today. My name is Brad Anderson. I am the Director of Education and Industry Outreach for eXp Realty International Corporation, as well as for the RE Tech Campus. And today I wanted to share the Agent Goal Planner. It's a tool that we like to provide to the industry that allows you to basically go out and determine how much money you need to make each year in the business of real estate, and then what are the required tasks to either reach or exceed those goals. Typically in the sale of the home, we know in the real estate business, what's required is contacts. Contacts are how you'll get appointments, and appointments are how you close real estate transactions. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you here. We're going to dive just, this will be a brief session, maybe about 10 minutes long, but I'll be showing you how to use this goal planner to set your real estate financial goals. So I'll go ahead and pick a screen here. We'll do this one, and then I'll pop this up on the screen. You should be able to see this. So this is the spreadsheet for the Agent Goal Planner, and this was built around a matrix that the National Association of Realtors reported. I want to say it's back in the 2000s, early 2000s, maybe even the late 1990s. But what they said was that it took, on average, across America, for the members at that point in time with the National Association, anywhere from, it took 35 contacts on average to get an appointment. And on average, again, across America, it took 4 appointments for an agent, on average, to close a transaction. So I went ahead and I used those statistics and that matrix to build what I call the Agent Goal Planner. One of the things that I used to do when I was in the title business is hire a lot of guest speakers to come in and train and teach and do keynotes for the local Bay Area audiences. And one thing that I realized everybody had in common that came to these events is they all had goals. They were all looking for ways to reach and make how much money they wanted to make in real estate. But there was no real plan. There was lots of books and tapes and how-tos and resources, but they never really broke it down into simple terms that every agent could understand. And the one thing I realized in that room one day when I had this blinding flash of the obvious is that everybody in that room had to make money. The difference was how much money is that they would need to live. And depending on where you live in the country, depending on how much money you need to make to live, will depend on how this would work for you. But the one thing I can promise you is this will work for any agent in any market, anywhere geographically located, regardless of that market and regardless of your experience. If what the National Association of Realtors says is true, and this is not just a Murphy's Law, but a law of numbers, then anyone that just goes out and focuses on contacts, appointments, and closings can make as much money as they want to make in real estate. And that's what we're going to try to show you now. So this is what I call my 5 seconds of pain. I just ask people a few questions. What is the average sales price in your local market? The average, I think, across the country is around $250,000. So we'll use that number. What is your split on the commission? In other words, if you represent the buyer or you represent the seller, some are doing it for 2.5. The average across the country is a 3% commission for the seller side, 3% for the buyer side, meaning a 6% commission off of the listed sales price, or I should say the accepted offer price. Then if you're on a split, some of you are out there on a 60-40 split, some of you are on a 70-30, some of you are on 80-20, 90-10, some of you might even be on 100% commission. So you would go ahead and punch your number in here, whatever your commission split is with your broker. Please take into consideration if your brokerage does charge you royalty fees, franchise fees, desk fees, E&O insurance fees, those kinds of things. Yeah, you want to split your commission accordingly. The next questions get really tough. I'm teasing. How many weeks for vacation? I like to take 2. How many weeks and days are you going to work in the week? I plan to work 5 days a week. How many hours a day are you going to work? I need to work 8 hours a day to reach what I think is going to be my goal. And then the last question, most important of all, how much money do you have to make to live, to survive, to wake up in the same bed you woke up today, to keep that house, to just carry on paying your bills and be able to live comfortably and happily just like you are today? Well, in my area, I am in the Bay Area. It's a little bit more expensive to live here. I couldn't function for less than $100,000 a year. Now, based on the matrix and the statistics that NAR says it takes for contacts and appointments, What this program will do is break down specifically and exactly what that looks like. So based on the numbers I've punched in for setting my goals, it says I'm going to need to sell 17 homes for the year to reach my financial goal. Now, what I've decided to do is that's 365 days we have to do that. What's required for me to sell a home? Well, I need to have some contacts. We agreed on that. I need to have some appointments out of those contacts so I can discuss their real estate needs. And that's going to get me that much closer to closing a transaction. So I'm going to focus on contacts, appointments, and closings. Well, if it takes me 35 contacts, I'll show you that number here, to get one appointment, and I have to sit in 4 living rooms to close a transaction, wow, how many appointments does that boil down to close 17 homes? That's 68 appointments, but that's for the year. So here you could get really overwhelmed and say, oh my gosh, this is too much. Who's going to talk to 2,380 people in the next year? That almost seems like trying to mow a football field with a push mower. Where do you start? Which corner? And how long are you going to be out there doing that? Well, really, it's not that bad, folks. When you break this down to the day, what do you have to do each day? Well, it's simple. I only have to talk to 10 people a day because I can't talk to 9.52 of a person, but I could talk to 10 people in a day. Well, wait a minute. Is that even humanly possible? If I could have 10 leads a day and 2 great, 10 awesome people to talk to about real estate, is it possible I could do it in an 8-hour day? Well, I'm thinking yes. That's a little more than, one person an hour. Now, theoretically, and for all practical purposes, you could probably talk to about 3 people in an hour. Talk to somebody for 15 minutes, take a 5-minute break, talk to someone for 15 minutes, take a 5-minute break, talk to someone for 15 minutes, take a 5-minute break, talk to someone for 15 minutes, there's your hour. Or you could talk to 3 people 15 minutes straight and then take a 15-minute break. Either way, I think it's humanly possible. It's not overkill and too much to handle or ask of any human being that you couldn't talk to 3 people about real estate in an hour's time. So here I could probably knock out these 10 people in the first 2-3 hours of my day. If, in fact, you believe that it takes 35 contacts to get one appointment and it takes 4 appointments to close a transaction. Now, you're on this webinar right now. I see a couple of people on here. I bet you're the one that's going, Brad, there's just no way. If I talk to 35 people, I get at least 10 appointments out of it. So again, let's work the numbers. That's what the spreadsheet's about. It's about working the numbers. So let's say you talk to 20 people and you get the appointment. And let's say every other appointment you sit in, you close a transaction. The numbers just get more beautiful. You're still going to make $100,000 a year. None of the numbers changed as far as your statistics, your average, how many hours you have to work per day to do it. Again, right here it is, very simple. It's only 3 people a day. And in an 8-hour day, who can't talk to 3 people? Now, if the next question you're asking yourself is, well, Brad, 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, that's all great, but where do I find these people? Great question. You have to take it off of this webinar. You have to reach out to Brad Andersohn, Brad at exprealty.com, and let's talk. I'll show you how we can build your business in multiple ways, but that'll be an off webinar conversation. So if that's you, feel free to reach out to me, Brad at exprealty.com. You can all call me. My phone number is 707-646-1876. There's a few other modules on here. There's the right side, which is the progress analysis. In this example, this will actually keep track of everything you're doing, and then it'll let you compare to your goals where you are in reality. So for example, if I scroll down here, and I'll do this quickly, I know we're going over a little bit here. If I go over here to the sales tab, let's say I sell Rockridge Drive for $369.5. I'm on a 3% commission. I'm on an 80% split, and let's say I paid $450 for a water heater replacement just to keep the deal together. And then I sold Pepperidge Farm Road or Farm Boulevard. That was $450. That's a gated community there, and so that was one of my nicer properties. Again, 80% split. Let's say this next one I sold for around the $295, around the national sales average price, 3%, but now I've capped and I've gone to 100% commission. So my income goes up a little bit. Well, here's what happens when you go back to the goals page and look at the goals page. You're going to see that over here on the left side, let's change this back to our original number that NAR gave us years ago, 35 contacts, 1 appointment, 4 appointments, closes a sale. And now when I come back over to the right side, notice we came in and I said our average sales price was $250. But over here, if you look at my personal sales, my own production, my actual sales price is higher than the national average. I'm at $371,500. Now, instead of selling 17 homes for the year, I only have to sell 11. Rather than talking to people at 68 appointments, and remember, these are conservative numbers, folks. 35 contacts to get 1 appointment and sitting at 4 homes and only closing 1 deal. I think the national average, that's the worst case scenario and the best case scenario, and they met somewhere in the middle and came up with those numbers. So your numbers are undoubtedly going to be better if you're even watching this session or this recording. That means you're definitely serious about setting your goals, reaching them, or possibly exceeding them. So I would say that your numbers are going to venture to be less contacts will get you more appointments, and you'll probably close more appointments than the national average. But again, going back over here to the progress analysis, you're going to see instead of having to talk to 10 people a day, because my average sales price is higher, my income is more, I only have to talk to 7 people a day. So I have to have less contacts, less appointments. But here's what I will challenge you. Don't go to the lesser number, because then what if all of a sudden you sell a condominium or a mobile unit or a townhome for less than the average price you predicted coming into this goal planning session? I don't want you to fall back. I want you to always be going forward. So always stick with the highest number. If the number over here in the goal says it's 10 people, but you're doing so well, you only have to talk to 7, folks, stick to the 10. Just trust me on this. I've been doing this for many, many, many years. I've worked with more than 25,000 agents using this exact same spreadsheet. I know it works. But again, for example, if you go over here to the sales page and you change that to 129, what if you sold a condo for 129? And what if you sold just a lot of land for 34 or 5? And then you also sold a really nice townhome, but it was only 168. Watch what happens to our numbers. And of course, this wouldn't be a capping at that. So we're going to say 80% commission. Now watch what happens when we go back to the goals. Well, you originally started out, because of the information we put in here up at the top, 10 people a day. But because your average sales price isn't 250, it's only 110.5. Now look, this is why I said go with the higher number, because you have no choice. Now you have to talk to 23 people a day, especially if you're going to try to close $100,000 worth of income on an average sales price of 110. So these numbers can all be changed. They can all be edited and customized to your local market, to your personal production. And even this is totally doable. Look at this. If you could talk to 3 people an hour with a 15-minute break, that's not even working. That's that's a 6-hour work day. But even if you talk to 3 people an hour in an 8-hour day, that's 24 people. So even if your average sales price in your market, you're watching this webinar right now with me and you're saying, well, Brad, that is my average sales price. It's okay. You can do this. You can make $100,000 even if your average sales price is 110. You're just going to have to talk to 3 people an hour, work a 6-hour day. Call 3 people, take a 15-minute break. Call 3 more people, take a 15-minute break. Call 3 more people. That's 3 hours with a 45-minute break. You take 4 hours, you work, it just makes sense. It's the numbers. And again, please feel free to come in here, change these numbers. You can go to agentgoalplanner.com. If you have any questions, you can call me 707-646-1876. Again, the website to download this is agentgoalplanner.com. Because of RESPA and some other issues I had back in the title company days, I think they charge a $25, $30 fee for the program. It's a one-time charge. It is an Excel spreadsheet, but it'll work on your Google Drive or Google Docs. And again, if you just have a question, you want me to just run through some numbers with you, you don't have to buy the program to do that. Just feel free to reach out to me online. Hey, thanks for joining me, you guys. And I hope you've enjoyed this session. If you have any questions, again, please don't ever hesitate to reach out. My door is always open to you. Thanks so much.